Every sign and every house, a journey starts and we allow the universe so vast and true. AstroViktor, it's here for you.
Hi, my dearest family. So today we are going to be looking at the upcoming Uranus and Neptune sextile. And this is truly like super important in a way because they don't meet often. So this is going to be happening either on the 28th or the 29th of August, depending on where you are. And by the way, we are going to be experiencing 5 sextiles. So this is not going to be only something that you experience for a couple of days. So this is super important to remember that we are experiencing 5 of them. Like I said, the very first one is going to be happening on the 28th or the 29th of August, depending on where you are. But we're gonna have one on November 20th as well. But that's going to be happening on 29-degree Taurus. While Uranus is on 29-degree of Taurus, and Neptune will be on 29-degree of Taurus, on Pisces. And we're going to have one in July 15th, 2026, 4-degree Gemini to 4-degree Aries. And we're going to have one January 15th, 2027. It's going to be happening on 1-degree Gemini to 1-degree Aries again. And then the very last sextile is going to be June 6, 2027. And that is on 6-degree Gemini to 6-degree Aries. So this is super important sextile. I'm going to be breaking this down for the 12 signs as well, very briefly. But if you would like to have a little bit more details on how this might be affecting you, then you might want to be considering taking my yearly forecast. Each rising sign is minimum 2.5 hours long. And you will be able to get more details about it because that is looking at the bigger picture. So I highly recommend. I'm giving you plenty of scenarios there so that you can prepare for the year ahead. Now, or if you need some help to interpret your own natal chart, then I'm here. You can book a reading with me. You can go on my website, AstroViktor.com, and then you can book a reading with me. So let's get going with this sextile. Of course, looking at the individual components, we've got the planet of rebellion coming together with the planet of illusions. So Uranus is about innovation, sudden change, awakening. It rules technology, desire for freedom. It is placed in the sign of Gemini, which is an air sign, and it is highly connected to communication, information, intellect. So this might be talking to us about a radical shift in how we think, how we speak, how we connect with others. Uranus will be in the sign of Gemini till about 2033. So we should be experiencing a lot of breakthroughs in those fields. Now, Neptune, the planet of dreams, spirituality, intuition. Neptune's energy is often subtle, dissolving boundaries and blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. But it is in the sign of Aries, which is about identity, initiation, action. So therefore, Neptune has got a dream, and then we are very assertive to get that going, basically in the sign of Aries. Now, this is a sextile, and a sextile is meant to be a harmonious aspect, but it can be slightly bit subtle though. So on one hand, this would indicate that we have got visions, visionary ideas, and then we are taking concrete actions about them. The sextile actually allows that idealistic, action-oriented energy of Neptune in Aries to work with the innovative and communicative Uranus in the sign of Gemini. This can lead to a period where, you have got these revolutionary and visionary ideas are not just dreams anymore, but we are actually actively putting them in motion. Of course, Uranus being the planet of technology, it really kind of feels like that the technology and spirituality meet somehow. So new technology, like new communication technologies could be facilitated or could be used to facilitate like a collective spiritual awakening. We might see new forms of community or connections emerging, maybe something that is based on shared ideas or a desire for social change. Maybe it's a form of art or music or even social media channels also. There could be a lot of collective questioning as well, like what is real? And because Uranus represents breaking free from something, so I want to be breaking free from limiting mental frameworks. I mean, it's interesting that Neptune is kind of like the smoking. And in the sign of Aries, which is a very frustrated sign, there is a lot of escapism happening, a lot of ways of trying to run away from like stress and frustration and anger. And often people are going to be, let's say, smoking instead, or, choosing any type of methods that are altering the mind to kind of calm down. On a personal level, this could really indicate some creative breakthroughs. Like you can have a lot of creative energy, particularly, when it comes to writing, communication, artistic expressions. Also, you can be very intuitive. I mean, both Uranus and Neptune are super intuitive. So you can have this strong pull to act on your kind of like inner guidance or intuition. You can trust your gut feelings. You might take a leap of faith in a new direction. It can even indicate that you are about to find your own voice, like speaking your truth and communicating your ideas with a newfound sense of courage. Maybe you are drawn towards like participating certain type of groups. We might see that groups are kind of like forming certain type of alliances. I think there is going to be a lot of scientific and technological breakthroughs, like new discoveries in fields like quantum physics or neuroscience or space exploration. And maybe that could be even like revealing the fundamental truth about, the universe that were previously unknown. It's somehow there is a link here between consciousness and reality. Maybe we are going to be experiencing astrology, for example, being more accepted, or information that has been buried or maybe then deliberately hidden for decades or even centuries now could suddenly come to light as well, though. So maybe it's related to, let's say, ancient civilizations or historical events or certain type of traditions. I think on an individual level, this is very much about an aha moment. Like, something that has been confusing or elusive, it starts making sense suddenly. Maybe it's a breakthrough in therapies if you go one. Suddenly you start understanding your recurring life patterns. So let's call it as the spiritual awakening aspect. I think that's also super cool, right? I'm gonna give you some tangible manifestations as well, of course, because many of us kind of like need that as well. I would also say that, like I said, Uranus is also often about excitement. So we can become very excited about new technological discoveries, but at the same time, we can get detached from them as well. So, like, I want to run away from these. Gemini represents information. So this could indicate like new diagnostic tools or better, more sophisticated medical devices or using the AI to analyze medical data or, finding like disease prevention or better treatments for something. Or even for me, it's kind of like the body language or yeah, how the body actually signals. So it's kind of like a technology that might be able to communicate with your nervous system. And Neptune, because it represents the medicine, and Aries is something to do with energy. So I can imagine that energy healing becomes more of a major topic, for example, like at least greater acceptance of that, or Aries might rule acupuncture. So I can imagine that acupuncture becomes more like widely used or accepted, or maybe it's integrated somehow in the mainstream medicine as well. Maybe it's also about kind of like a discovery that your spiritual and emotional state of mind is super connected to physical health. And I think we are aware of that, but people are currently not necessarily like accepting that. Aries rule blood. And I could imagine there could be a lot of discoveries in pathology or blood work related stuff also. So there is surely a lot of magic. Like, Uranus is kind of like an alchemist. It's the planet of genius and revelation. It's the alchemist of the mind, I would say. And Neptune is a magician also, but he's the planet of dreams and visions and the unseen. So there is something magical going down here. Like the creative inspiration is one, like artists, musicians, writers. We might be seeing the bloom of their work a lot more, or just approaching their form of art from a different dimensions. Also, there could be a lot of healing breakthroughs, like miraculous recoveries from illnesses or conditions that were previously considered incurable. Or this is somehow about the shared human experiences as well. So we might be seeing that people are coming together without knowing each other and then trying to help, for example, the underprivileged. Um, so that could be potentially one topic as well, which I think would be so nice to see anyway, that people are kind of like working together. Also, I want to mention that the conjunction between Uranus and Neptune, so that's exactly where the seeds are planted, happened in the sign of Capricorn, somewhere in the 90s. I think it was in 1993. And Capricorn rules structures and institutions and government, big businesses or social order. So this is exactly where we had, the seeds planted. I mean, if you think about it, that's really the year when the internet started coming around, and Uranus and Neptune cycles are about trends and the influencers also. So we might be seeing that these influencers, the rise of them, or the collapse of them, basically. But this is now pretty much of one of the phases that, like early phases, that is happening with the sextile. So, it marks a moment where the seeds planted during 1993, maybe we're going to start seeing, it's going to start bearing fruits in a tangible and productive way. So I can see potentially that there is a global restructuring going on, for example. Of course, the role of Gemini here is something to do with the intellect. So because internet was born in 1993, I think maybe the internet is ready to fully express its own like potentials, when it comes to knowledge and communication. So there could be a lot of new ideas connected to it. The internet could be shifting quite significantly as well. And Aries' role, is all about action. It's all about boldness. So whatever we are discovering here, it is something to do with a bold move. But in Capricorn, it would be more to do with tangibility, something, a practical application of things. It's about, with Capricorn, we lay the groundwork for a new system. And now whatever we have applied or we applied there, this sextile is kind of like, let's 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 do the application. Let's upgrade this system somehow. So somehow internet might be going through quite a big change, I would say. And you know, the other thing that might have come to my mind is that because in 1993 there was the dissolution of Czechoslovakia. It officially ceased to exist on January 1st. So we had Czech Republic after and Slovakia. But there was the creation of the European Union also. And there was the Oslo Accords, which is like a historic agreement between Israel and Palestine. A liberation organization was signed around that time. And we had Mandela was awarded, and someone else, Clark, I think, was awarded for a Nobel Prize for their work to dismantle um, 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 apartheid or something like that. So again, this is just showing, for example, that we might be seeing that new members of the EU are about to be joining, or potentially we might see that certain type of unions are falling apart. It could be a peace treaty as well. So there was a couple of negative stuff happening around that time. I mean, not necessarily negative, but X-Files came around. It debuted in 1993 also, and that was a big hit around, right? So of course that might be connected to government conspiracies, paranormal activities, search for the truth in a world of illusions. That was the role pretty much of the girl. Now I cannot remember her name all of a sudden, but that was a favorite of mine. So we might be seeing information being leaked around UFOs and stuff like that, which is also pretty, um, I think it's around the corner anyway. But Uranus also rules electricity and inventions as well. So I'm just wondering if there is going to be a new source of electricity or source of power somehow. So maybe a scientist who has got this, intuitive flash, kind of like downloading a message, or maybe even discovering something like accidentally. Or I can imagine, with Uranus and Neptune as well, that the people are coming together, for example, to save the oceans. Surely we are talking about some revolutionary moment for um for us, basically. I can even imagine that, we've got this brain computer interfaces or other technologies that allow a more direct and form of communication. So we might be seeing the language barriers are basically disappearing. And I know it exists already, but I'm talking about the enhanced version of that. Or the old models of news and media are already struggling. Let's be frank about it. So this could be kind of like, final nail in the coffin for them, basically. So it might get decentralized, it get more personalized, or, where the source of information come from, the fake news and real news topic could be something that might be becoming a topic. Or not to mention that the digital stuff like how you are going to get served at a coffee shop. I think it's in Japan or China where someone is sitting at home, maybe a disabled person, and then they are talking into the machine, and then the machine is delivering the coffee to the table. We might start seeing something like that, but VR, AR, basically those like stuff, I think it's going to be happening quite a lot. Maybe it's a new form of data compression or new algorithms or a new way to transmit information could completely change as well. But it always fascinates me that we've got, like the Terminator and the rise of the machines and all those type of stuff. So where does all where do these technological advancements lead? That would be one of the questions as well that might be popping up in people's mind quite significantly. So remembering that also. It could be a feeling, a feeling where there is a lot of unexpected stuff that is happening, a lot of crazy stuff that is happening in our life, and it doesn't make sense, but then it does make sense. So it's kind of like a little bit of a clarity around certain type of illusions as well. Something that is happening right in front of your eyes, and then you might not be able to see that immediately, but then later on, you've got those like downloads that now it does make sense. I would also say that it's somehow also about your dream that can come true. And you might feel like electrified about it. You might have got this vision of freedom in a way, and then I just want to fly. I would say that I can imagine also that you have been kind of like agonizing somehow of what to do in your life, and then all of a sudden you have got this clear voice in your head as well. But I also would like to mention that right now Uranus in Gemini sextile Neptune, well, the dispositor of Uranus is Mercury, and Mercury is in Leo squaring Juno there. So that might be important though, and that could talk to us about a partnership disagreement, for example. I mean, Mercury in Leo is making a big statement, and Juno is the asteroid of connections. So this could therefore end or talk to me about end of certain type of partnership agreements. Maybe one partner who just wants to kind of keep things a little bit intimate, Juno in Scorpio, and the other one wants to go public with something. So that's a tension here, and then maybe we just go separate ways. Someone might be a little bit stubborn here as well, and then just refuse to kind of cooperate. So that's why I would say that most likely I will see new alliances happening with Uranus and Neptune also. Okay, so this is just a brief video about what to expect with these. So potentially, let's just have a look at the 12 signs now, very briefly though. I'm going to share the screen so that you can follow the chart. Maybe it makes it easier visually and also to find your sign as well. And on top of that, I'm going to try to give you two positive and potentially two challenging scenarios so that you can kind of like try to put it into your own life. So let's get started with Aries rising sign. So Uranus is in your third house and Neptune is in your first house. So Uranus in your third house, it electrifies the mind, the way you communicate, it brings excitement into your environment as well. So maybe you are innovating the way you speak, you write, the way you think, and maybe you are embracing new technology and communication methods. Now, Neptune in the first house is all about like this placement infuses your identity and physical self with a sense of idealism, creativity, spiritual sensitivity. So maybe you want to be expressing yourself a little bit more in an artistic and creative ways. So some of the positives that I can imagine is that you're going to have a unique idea, and that leads you to become this visionary leader within your community. So, of course, your words can inspire others. You can embrace something new. Maybe you discover a new technology or an inventive way of communicating that helps you to express your artistic and spiritual nature. Maybe simply this is about you wanting to gain public recognition for your unique identity. And maybe you are about to be launching, for example, a YouTube channel, a TikTok channel, and so forth. And then you're trying to sell something on it. Some of the challenging scenarios that I can imagine is that your communication or the amount of ideas that you might have makes you scattered or idealistic. And maybe it's difficult for others to understand your true intention, or you can get lost within all those ideas that you have got, and maybe it's a bit of a struggle to ground or to make things real. Or maybe you are very tempted to make improvements in your communication skills, but maybe it somehow like people don't get you. It can be a misleading persona there, or you are blurring the lines between who you are and who you pretend to be. So surely in Aries, you are all about authenticity. And that needs to be portrayed in whatever you are trying to sell, third house, the way you want to market yourself. Potentially, this could even indicate that you are going to be traveling a lot more also. Taurus rising sign. So Uranus is in your second house and Neptune in your 12th. And Uranus can bring sudden and erratic changes to your finances. It could be for the better or for the worse as well. Often with Uranus in the second house, we make money one day, we don't do anything the next day. So this is kind of like a commission-based position, but your money may come from unconventional sources, or your attitude towards money, your relationship with money could be a little bit unstable. So there is a healing to be done there, and that's the Neptune element. Neptune in the 12th house is about dissolving boundaries related to your subconscious, hidden enemies. It's kind of like the money is being an enemy to you, and therefore there is a healing to be done around self-worth and the way we look at money. But also, Neptune represents dream as well. So you can get these highly intuitive hits about what exactly you want to do with your life, what ways I want to be making money. So you have got these intuitive insights into unseen opportunities, and that can allow you to generate income. Maybe this is humanitarian, maybe this is tech related, maybe this is an unconventional way of manifesting your dreams, but into tangible assets. Or you have got a financial vision, maybe yes, a financial vision, or you have got ways of kind of like doing something charitable, non-profit orientated behind the scenes, or you're trying to figure out your sense of purpose. You're trying to give something back to others as well. The challenging part of this could be that, like, there could be financial losses here as well as gains, and this is due to lack of clarity. Like, I'm relying on my intuitive hunches a lot, but I'm not doing enough research. And Gemini is quite a research sign. We can get into these get rich quick schemes, based on just the gut feelings, and maybe it's just an illusion. Or simply, you're going to have to be able to work through your hidden anxieties, and those hidden anxieties could lead you to make erratic or irresponsible financial decisions. And of course, that can cause some instability. Gemini rising sign, you've got Uranus in your first house and Neptune in your 11th house. Now, Uranus in the first house, it's I mean, you're a nonconformist. Your identity, your appearance, your physical energy can be unpredictable, but you can be highly original as well. You are somehow embodying the spirit of freedom. And Neptune in your 11th house, it brings a sense of idealism or spiritual connections to friends or a social group or your long-term goals. So you can get either supported or betrayed by your friends. So some of the positives that I can imagine here is that you are making changes about who you are. You've got these revolutionary ideas, you've got this unique personality, a unique vision that make you a leader. So imagine that you've got this unique idea no one has ever done, and then you are given a go for it. And basically, it's going to be a social media sensation. You're going to become this influencer. Uranus and Neptune combinations are often about how we can influence others. And the 11th house is so much to do with influencing our audience, but you can be inspiring your friends and community as well to become more compassionate or forward thinking. And maybe it's all about collaborations, creative alliances with friends, and meeting those people who you share your unique vision with. And then together you launch a project or a social movement. And maybe you merging somehow that with technology or some spiritual or artistic ideas. Challenging side of this could be that maybe it's difficult for you to maintain stable friendships or social commitments. You can get caught up in your ideas that you touch, like you lose touch with the reality. And maybe you project your idealized version of yourself onto your social groups, and that could lead to this illusionment, especially when people don't live up to the expectations. And then it can feel like that I cannot rely on people. Or people can feel like that they cannot rely on you either because you have changed a lot. And most likely you are going to be changing quite a lot in the next few years. Cancer rising sign, Uranus is in your 12th house and Neptune is in your 10th house. So Uranus in the 12th, it's sudden insights, some type of unpredictable changes to your subconscious mind, to your private life. It's really about active dreams and spiritual awakening, sometimes liberating, sometimes shocking, sometimes both. Now, with Neptune in the 10th house, this is about an ideal profession, or I want to come across artistic, or I want to find the perfect job. Maybe I want to find something that is connected to healing, creativity, or a service to others. So I can imagine that you're going to have these intuitive breakthroughs from your subconscious mind directly affecting your career. So maybe you decide that, but this is not my career anymore, and I want to make a change. And maybe this change is connected to you leaving your job behind, something that you might have been doing for a very long time, and then you are pretty much moving towards a new career direction, something that might align more with your humanitarian or creative side of yours. Or maybe you discover that you have got certain type of hidden talent, and maybe that talent is connected to be able to help others in their professional capacity. And that could be gaining recognition for you. The challenging side is that we can get super confused about what path we want to be on. Or there could be a lot of self-deception as well, thinking that this is going to be the ideal business, the ideal job, and then we might have to wake up at one point. Or there could be a lot of anxiety or self-sabotaging behaviors, and that could be disrupting your career path as well. Simply, I can feel lost or disorientated about what direction to be in. Leo rising sign, we've got Uranus in your 11th, Neptune in your 9th. Now, Uranus is electrifying your social circle. Yeah, there could be that I'm attracting new people into my life, maybe unusual, maybe unconventional, future-orientated people, people that I've never hung out with yet. But also, this could be bringing disruptions to your goals as well. And suddenly, I'm walking away from a goal. Now, Neptune in the ninth house, that's a spiritual journey, basically. So it's a spiritual discovery. Maybe I'm yearning to finish school, or I want to be relocating. I want to be somewhere else. So putting the two together, it looks like that you have got all these innovative ideas, some visionary goals, and that might like push you towards a social group, or you have got this spiritual awakening going on, or even you might be joining a humanitarian mission, or you're traveling to a foreign country to work, for example. And even you can be using your own network let's say, of unconventional friends that is broadening your horizon, your perspective on the world. And that could be leading to an intellectual breakthrough. So it's like meeting new people in foreign countries, meeting different people from different spiritual or intellectual background as well. And that might be changing your entire belief system. Even this could indicate, for example, that you are about to be meeting someone significant who is going to become your partner. However, the challenging side is that maybe your social circle are full of people who are not as they appear, and you feel betrayed by them. Or maybe there are friends who are taking advantage of your trusting nature or your kind of generous nature. So therefore, it could talk to you about cutting people out of your life because we are not on the same wavelength anymore. But also there could be a sudden change connected to your goals as well because you lose faith in it. And then simply, I'm just stirring my wheels into a different direction. Or simply you are just feeling adrift without a sense of purpose or direction in life. So you're going to have to be figuring out what your goals are. Okay, Virgo rising sign. So Uranus is in your 10th house and Neptune is in your 8th house. So Uranus in the 10th house, that's an unexpected change to your career, your public reputation. And there is a need here to innovate something in your profession. So it's a sudden change of career, or there are your career path is full of surprises. Now, Neptune in your 8th house is all about an idealistic money scenario. What I mean by that is that, I need to earn this amount of money, and that's the goal there. But also, it could indicate that you are going through a psychological transformation or you are connected to someone on a psychic level. So, on one hand, I can imagine that you want to find a job, for example, to be able to help others, maybe developing their finances, for example, or you are developing like this new technology that aids in debt relief or creating a platform that is bringing you some financial security. Or maybe I can also imagine that it's a groundbreaking new career path for you. And then now you've got the courage to move towards something else. Maybe that involves healing or working with other people's resources. The challenging side is that, we are in our career and that could cause us psychological stress or confusion. Maybe there is this line between your professional role and your personal life, and that might be blurred a little bit. So imagine that if you're in a healing field, for example, and then people are kind of like, dropping you a WhatsApp message in the middle of the night. So where is the boundary there? But also, there could be a lot of chaotic changes happening in your career as well, linked to secrets or financial situations. And that might be causing some psychological turmoil or a loss of stability in your life. Libra rising sign, we've got Uranus in your 9th, Neptune in your 7th. Now, Uranus in the 9th, that is sudden changes to your beliefs or disruptions to your travel plans or relocation. But also it's an intellectual rebel as well. So we might be having these unconventional philosophies that we would like to put on a public stage. And Neptune in the 7th house is meeting the ideal partner or being, in a way, like falling in love with someone as well. Or maybe you project your idealized version of a partner onto them, and then, it can lead to disappointments. But some of the positive side of this is that you can attract a partner who shares the same ideas like you, or you have got this yearning to be intellectually free, or you are traveling the world with your partner, and then it's kind of like sharing, like a shared philosophical journey, and that is changing your lives, changing other people's lives. But also there could be a lot of intuitive or compassionate approach to relationships as well. Maybe it's a healing some of your relationship patterns also. Maybe it's kind of like astrologically speaking, you are learning about synastry, for example, that is going to be giving you a lot of insight into your own life as well. The challenging side is that we can get super caught up in our philosophical or political ideas, and then we can lose touch with reality. So, therefore, it can lead to a sense of disillusionment, or we might feel betrayed by the partner. And maybe a partner has got some unrealistic dreams, and that is bringing certain type of disruptions to our, let's say, travel plans or education plans. Or you might be blinded by your love for them and then not necessarily seeing the red flags. Scorpio rising sign, Uranus is in your eighth, Neptune is in your sixth. So Uranus is bringing changes to your shared resources, intimacy, psychology. So maybe there is an unexpected inheritance going on, or you are about to get into debt, or you have got these intense psychological shifts happening in your life. And Neptune in the sixth is I want to figure out the ideal work, or I want to escape from certain type of routines, or I want to heal myself. So on positive level, I can imagine that you use your inventive way of thinking to navigate through psychological complexes or a financial crisis. Then you're trying to find unconventional solutions that helps you to transform your life, basically. Or in a way, I want to do something that is purposeful, like from a work point of view. And also, this could talk to us about that you are going to start making money out of a service industry. Challenging side of this is that potentially there is a lack of clarity surrounding shared financial situations. You may be drained by a job, and that could lead to some physical ailments. And there could be changes to your partner's finances as well. Or you might be neglecting your health and daily duties. You might be sacrificing your own well-being, or you are trying to control your financial situations. Sagittarius rising sign, we've got Uranus in the seventh, Neptune in your fifth. Wow, this could bring a lot of sudden, unpredictable, sometimes chaotic changes to your partnerships and one-to-one relationships. And with Neptune in the fifth house, that's very creative, being creative in our love life or doing a creative hobby or wanting to have a child as well. So on positive side of this is that it's definitely a lot of creativity, a lot of creative collaboration, or you are attracting a new love life, or some partner is going to be supporting your unique forms of self-expression, or you are creating something together with a partner of yours, or you are getting inspired by your partner, or you are inspiring your partner to make changes in their lives as well. Also a new relationship, which looks like not so traditional, but it has got a spiritual purpose. Maybe we share the same hobbies or the same passion. The challenging side is that maybe your love life or your relationship with children can be a source of confusion or even worry. Or you have been looking for love that kind of doesn't exist because obviously it's based on certain type of idealism. This could indicate a chaotic breakup as well or a conflict with partner, and that might be disrupting your creative flow or even your confidence. Or in a way, you find it difficult to find joy or kind of like express yourself in your love life. Capricorn rising sign, we've got Uranus in your sixth, Neptune in your fourth. And Uranus brings changes to your daily work, routine, and your health. And Neptune in the fourth house is like I'm looking for the perfect home. I am reconnecting with my family and I just want security in my life. So on one hand, I can imagine that, your innovative work or service is very much inspired by your own family, or you want to make a change, for example, like relocating because of work, or you are trying to find a new job to be able to have your own family and to create that inner security. Or maybe it's also about sudden disruptions to family members, like health-related scenarios, and then you have to be there for them. Maybe also it's all about trying to find ways to improve your daily life or even your health so that you can be a little bit more peaceful, you can feel a little bit more secure in your life. And the challenging side is that, we can get worried about a parent of ours, or our vitality could be a little bit all over the place, or maybe a family member has got this deceptive behavior, or there could be a lot of chaos going on in your daily work or job. You might feel like that your daily routines are disrupted at your home, and that makes you feel ungrounded and insecure. Aquarius rising sign. Uranus is in your fifth, Neptune is in your third. Now, Uranus in the fifth, that electrifies your love life, your creative life, your connections to children. So you might be picking up some really exciting hobbies, or, you are going to be trying to date, but in different ways, or your parenting style is going to be changing quite a lot. And while Neptune in the third house, that's like like I communicate a lot more about spirituality, or I'm investing into my spiritual thoughts, or you are inspired to write, to speak, to share your compassionate beliefs. So on one hand, it shows certain type of unique ideas that allows you to, let's say, launch a business or to write or speak about your spiritual or humanitarian topics. Somehow you are ready to inspire, or maybe you find ways to use technology to share your art or your spiritual message, let's say with a community. Maybe it's about using social media to spread your ideas to be able to sell a business of yours. The challenging side is that we can get scattered or idealistic, and maybe others find it difficult to understand your romantic intentions or your creativity, or maybe you're speaking in abstract terms that confuses your audience. There could be some changes in your love life, or even to your creative project that may lead you to communicate in a way that is confusing or misleading. Also, this could indicate that, for example, your child is about to relocate, or your child is about to go to school, and meaning that you might having to find ways of coping with that. And last but not least, Pisces rising sign. Uranus is in your fourth, and Neptune is in your second house. And Uranus in the fourth brings sudden and unexpected changes to your home life, to your family and roots. And Neptune in the second house has got a vision about how to create money or doing something that is my spiritual purpose. So on one hand, maybe it's all about trying to use your spiritual values and creative vision to generate income, but in an unconventional way. Your family may support your projects, for example, but also there could be changes in your family circumstances, or to move to a new home, and that is inspiring you for some new financial ventures. The challenging side could be is that, I'm confused about where to live, who my family is, Or what should be my values? Shall I follow the family values? Or we can get into some financial scenarios with our family as well. Maybe it's a chaotic change in your family or living situation that is like may lead to a lack of clarity about your financial future. So maybe it's having to sell a house to be able to help the parents, for example. But a financial situation that could be making you feel ungrounded or insecure. So to summarize for everyone, I've given you the degrees at the beginning of the video, the sensitive degrees. So remember, this is 1 degree or 29-degree Taurus to 29-degree Pisces, or 4 degree of Aries to 4 degree of Gemini, or 6 degree Aries, 6 degree Gemini. So if you have got any planets around those degrees, especially in those signs or in the opposing signs, so meaning that it's in Libra, for example, or if it's in Gemini, right? So, for example, we're gonna have a 6 degree sextile. So for me, that's going to be opposing my Jupiter. But we're gonna have one on 4 degree of Gemini as well. So that's going to be opposing my moon, for example. So then this sextile in the next 3 years is going to be super important for you. Also, you can be looking at if you have got any solar arc planet or progress planet sitting on those degrees, but give a tight orb to it, then it's also super important a few years ahead of you. So do let me know in the comment box below if you have got any planets on those sensitive degrees, because you are going to be the ones who feel it the most. Have a lovely week, everyone, and make sure to subscribe, like the videos, share the videos, press the notification bell, because I'm going to be coming up with some eclipse news very soon, and I'm going to be continuing also the 2026 marathon. So you're going to get a lot of information. Take care, everyone, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Through every sign and every house, a journey starts, and we allow the universe so vast and true. AstroViktor, it's here for you.